The Bailfyre Chronicles. Foundations. Prelude.
Greetings, Malchroneth, chronicler of time, keeper of lore, dragon of the first breed, an all-round magnificent creature of regal and elegant coughs and grunts. Ugh, who am I kidding? I hate this job. Well, no matter, the power at be has tasked me to tell you a story. Well, more like a legend. Basically, it's a story of an entire family bloodline that did some great things that turned the fate of existence around for all who live. That said, here you go. They did some stuff and it worked out great. That's it, the end.
A thunderous bass chord crashes around Malchroneth, like the stern rebuke of a power that will not tolerate defiance.
Okay, fine. I'll tell the entire long drawn-out tale of your precious Bailfyre family. Ugh. Where was I? Oh, right, stupid story. Well, the thing is, I know all the facts and timelines and technical mumbo-jumbo, but my storytelling skills are, let's say, blah. So I will be using this magical device called the etheric interpreter to filter my words to make them more appealing and give you, the reader or listener, whichever it may be, a more pleasant experience. As that is what I've been instructed to do by this overbearing power that has locked me away outside of everything for what feels like forever now.
Once more the heart-shattering sound detonates, a ruthless judgment echoing with finality, as if the very air condemns all beneath it.
I'm sorry, dear readers and listeners, for my poor attitude and lackluster enthusiasm. It's not like I'm all sad or, boring, okay? It's you, always making me do stuff. Like, would you, want to be locked up and made to do things too?
A crisp staccato tone slices the air as if declaring, enough.
I see, okay, here is the first tale of the Bailfyre Chronicles. Please enjoy.
Chapter 1. Call to Arms. The Greenwall. A name not merely spoken, but invoked, half in reverence, half in dread, across the three great regions of Narmeria, cradle of the old world and spine of the continent. It was no mere forest, no stretch of woods to be mapped and mastered. It was a boundary, a wound, a living memory of the song of creation itself, where it was whispered in hushed tones over crackling hearths and midnight campfires. The first melody of beginnings had drawn breath and refused to exhale. Time itself held its pulse in those shadowed corridors, as though unwilling to trespass too near. The forest stretched unbroken from sea to mountain, a vast, emerald scar cleaving the land with roots that burrowed deeper than any kingdom's claim. Mighty trees towered like ancient titans. Their bark, mottled and intricately veined, wore generous draperies of moss and lichen that clung like the cloaks of long-forgotten heroes. Overhead, branches twisted together in an eternal embrace, forming a canopy of shadowed green that rendered the forest floor a realm of perpetual twilight. The filtered light, when it finally penetrated, glimmered like vestiges of lost memory, uneasy and tentative in its approach. The Greenwall was alive in more ways than one. It listened, it breathed. Even the wind dared not speak too loudly beneath its tangled crown, for legends insisted that far beneath the layered silence, deeper things stirred. Whispers spoke of entities older than flame or flesh, creatures whose names had been swallowed by the relentless march of ages. They said that the primordial silence had once walked these winding paths, back when the world lingered in a half-dream, and that echoes of that deep hush still clung to the roots like ancient scars. To the north of that green barrier lay Narthwale, the realm of ice and iron. Here, encircled by the jagged fangs of the Narthwale peaks, a country of unyielding frost reigned supreme. In Narthwale, snow fell as fine as powdered bone, and the air cut like a vengeful spectre. The sun did not so much shine as it struggled through the pall of an endless, fatigued sky. Within its cold embrace, however, spread rare and splendid pine forests, their stately trunks and verdant crowns defying the relentless chill with a quiet, resolute beauty. The people of North Wales were as the land itself, silent, flint-hearted, and enduring as stone, their hospitality unyielding amidst the bitter winds. To the west sprawled Salt Reach, a realm swathed in perpetual mist and the pungent tang of salt and sulphur. This land of stemming springs, sprawling marshes, and brine-soaked earth evoked images of drowned legends. Along its coral-rich coasts, great harbor towns clung precariously like barnacles on an ancient wreck. In these bustling mariners' havens, voices rose in 1,000 languages, the hearty chants of spice-laden markets, the quick-witted banter of weathered traders, and the offhand humor of sailors whose tales of tempest and tide both dazzled and warned. Yet it was eastward, beyond the whispered boundaries of ice and salt, where the promise of dawn unfurled its golden banner. The dawn march. Here lay a land wide and bathed in ceaseless light, where seasons lingered like reluctant lovers, rolling hills carpeted in whistle-weed, slender stalks that, stirred by the wind, produced soft, hollow melodies, spread as far as one's eyes could wander. Some claimed those delicate notes were fragments of the first song of creation, the ancient refrain of the primordia itself, floating in the air like forgotten lullabies. In this fertile domain, rivers meandered with a gentle determination, and every furrow of earth sang of timeless harvest, of labors shared and hopes renewed. Nestled in the northeastern embrace of that radiant land was the illustrious city of Sunsong. Ah, Sunsong. The very name was a caress upon the tongue, a melody recited by poets and merchants alike. Here, beauty was not crafted by mere stone and mortar. It was coaxed into being, as if the land herself longed for elegance. Towers of pale alabaster soared skyward, their spires glistening with silver tips and veined with filigree of bronze and gold that captured and refracted the morning light in a mesmerizing dance. Blossoms spilled from every tiered garden and terrace, perfuming the air with the heady scent of 1,000 blooms, each a reminder of beauty and bygone triumphs. Streets shimmered under the careful choreography of art and craft. Structures of blackwood and red clay embraced one another in harmonious contrast, a testament to an unspoken covenant between nobility and earth, a union of proud stone with humble timber. Statues, wrought with love and battle-weariness, adorned the avenues, maidens armed with both harp and blade, mythical beasts poised in eternal vigilance, and heroes whose names, though long engraved in memory, shone as brightly as the rare metals from the deep veins below. Here, every sculpted form and every carved letter spoke of commerce and consequence, of ancient legends intertwined with the very heartbeat of the land. Yet beneath such resplendent beauty, an ominous shadow had begun to fester. From the dense, foreboding expanse of the Greenwall came a creeping horror, not heralded by war nor conquest, but manifesting as an insidious, shambling plague. They were the Vileborn. From out of the forest's depths spilled forth these twisted spawn, behemoths of ruin and contorted blood. Orcs lumbered forward, their gnarled limbs and cracked, stone-like skin bearing the scars of endless strife. Goblins, fleet as the flicker of a dying flame, laughed with voices like broken bells, while baring teeth reminiscent of chipped obsidian. Trolls, vast and reeking of primordial decay, advanced with flesh slicked like the damp stone of the earth. And ogres, beasts of unbridled fury, whose roars clawed at the silence, shook the ground as if in mourning for lost innocence. They emerged silently, without trumpets or tempests, a malign miasma born from the ancient wounds of the Greenwall. and as Sunsong's battlements trembled beneath that relentless tide, the city bled, and its once proud knights, whose armor had once gleamed like beacons of hope, were reduced to gaunt reminders of battles past. Their eyes, once vibrant with purpose, now harbored a dull resignation. In the darkened halls of the Sunsong keep, whispers grew among the survivors. "Have you heard?" murmured a weary captain to his friend near the shattered courtyard. "They say the forest itself has roused with anger. Perhaps it is not the Vileborn that are cursed, but the very soul of the Greenwall." Another, with a scar that marred his cheek, replied in a subdued tone, "Anger begets fury, and fury must have its reckoning." Amid this despair, a clarion call rang out, an appeal for aid that spanned the continent. And from that call, crossing barren moors and war-torn paths, rode one figure known both for his relentless skill and the enigmatic air that shrouded him: Jesil Bailmond. Jesil rode not with the pomp of heralds or the clamor of trumpets, but as a lone shadow amid the clattering of despair, a mercenary by necessity, yet undeniably more than mere blade and coin. Jesil was a man molded by the unforgiving road, a living chronicle of battles and whispered legends. Tall and broad-shouldered, his weathered skin carried the bronze hue of long-forged campaigns beneath a sun that had seen too much sorrow. His tresses, a wild cascade of rich copper, flared defiantly against any semblance of order. His beard, thick and unruly, framed a mouth that rarely welcomed laughter, and his eyes, clear and unyielding as summer skies, missed naught that transpired. They saw the grief of kingdoms, the decay of honor, and the persistent shadow of a world undone. There was a noble dignity in his measured gait, thus a quiet strength in his somber silence. His armor, crafted of worn leather and patched with the memories of countless battles, whispered tales of pragmatism over vaunted pride. Clutched in his determined hand was an axe, not a gleaming instrument of vanity, but a time-worn harbinger of finality. His shield, scarred by the ghosts of forgotten crests, bore the faded remnants of ancestral valor, and ever at his side, resting against his chest as though guarding its own secret, a dagger lay hidden, a silent witness to history's best left in obscurity. But it was his cloak that inspired the murmurs of lore throughout Sunsong and beyond. Woven from the ethereal silk of the black haunt spider, a creature that dwelt deep within sunless caverns beneath the oldest of mountains, the mantle was said to be stronger than steel and lighter than a whisper. To see him clad in that spectral fabric was to glimpse the boundary between the tangible and the mythic. Few had witnessed its uncanny glow, and even fewer had lived to recount its mystery. No man had inquired of the origins of that cloak, for its secret was as tightly held as Jesil's own guarded past. Rumors drifted like autumn leaves. Some claimed he was once of noble birth, others that he had vanquished a prince of men in a duel of honor and blood, while whispers in the backroom taverns spoke of a night under a bleeding moon when Jesil had locked eyes with a primordial beneath the shadow of the great tree, and lived to tell the tale. Jesil neither confirmed nor denied, allowing silence to be his most eloquent testament. Thus he rode with Sunsong's embattled knights, and ragtag sellswords clad in rusted mail, not in the pursuit of glory, but driven by an unspoken duty to confront the encroaching darkness. His path led him, steadily, inexorably, to the heart of that dread, to the very source of the world's bleeding wound. And so he advanced toward the Greenwall, that living memory of the song of creation, where the ancient melody first stirred and yet refused to release its hold. In the gathering gloom beneath the thick boughs of that eternal forest, as the eerie chorus of ancient wood and forgotten secrets swelled about him, Jesil's whispered vow was lost amidst the rustling leaves. For Sunsong, for Bailfyre, I ride to reclaim the light. In that moment, with the chill of impending doom in the air, and the lullabies of the primeval earth murmuring from unseen hollows, the stage was set for a confrontation as old as the world itself, a clash between the resolute hope of mankind and the relentless brood of nature's malady. And so as the Greenwall's shadow deepened and its secrets stirred in the twilight, between memory and oblivion, the call to arms echoed, a promise that the battle was not yet lost, and that even in the face of creeping ruin, the heart of creation would continue to beat, albeit in defiant, quiet rebellion.